Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Many equate it with weakness or perceive it as letting the offender off the hook. But in reality, forgiveness is a profound act of courage and strength. It's not about erasing the wrong or forgetting the pain. Instead, it's about freeing yourself from the emotional chains that keep you tethered to the hurt. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with heavy stones. Each stone represents an unresolved hurt, betrayal, or grudge. Over time, the weight grows unbearable, yet many of us choose to keep carrying it, unaware of how it's crushing our spirit. This is the burden of unforgiveness. It doesn't just weigh down your heart, it also seeps into your mental and physical health, draining your energy and leaving little room for joy or peace. Unforgiveness acts like a poison that spreads through your life. It impacts relationships, disrupts your ability to trust, and keeps you stuck in the past. You might think you're punishing the other person by holding on to your anger, but in reality, you're the one who suffers. It's like clutching a burning coal, intending to throw it at someone else, yet all it does is burn your hand. Forgiveness is not about excusing the wrong or pretending it didn't happen. It's about acknowledging the hurt, processing the pain, and making the intentional choice to release it. It's an act of self-love and self-preservation. You're not saying what they did was okay, you're saying, I refuse to let this control my life any longer. Studies show that forgiveness has profound benefits for mental and physical health. People who forgive tend to have lower stress levels, better heart health, and improved relationships. They sleep better, smile more, and live freer lives. The act of forgiving rewires your brain, shifting your focus from the pain of the past to the possibilities of the future. But the journey of forgiveness is rarely linear. It often begins with confronting the pain head-on, which can be incredibly uncomfortable. You might feel anger, sadness, or even betrayal all over again. However, sitting with these emotions is an essential part of healing. Avoiding them only prolongs the process. Allow yourself to grieve the loss of trust, the hurt feelings, or the betrayal. It's okay to feel. It's okay to cry. It's okay to hurt. One of the biggest misconceptions about forgiveness is that it's for the benefit of the offender. That couldn't be further from the truth. Forgiveness is for you. It's about reclaiming your peace and taking back control of your narrative. When you forgive, you're not condoning the wrong, you're simply refusing to let it dictate your happiness any longer. Think of forgiveness as a gift you give yourself. It's a way to lighten the emotional load and create space for new, healthier experiences. It doesn't mean the person who hurt you gets to stay in your life. Forgiveness can coexist with boundaries. In fact, sometimes forgiveness means letting go of someone entirely while wishing them well from a distance. The process of forgiveness is deeply personal and different for everyone. For some, it might take weeks, for others, it could take years. And that's okay. What's important is to start the journey. Begin with small steps, acknowledge your pain, express your feelings, and explore the possibility of releasing the grudge. You don't have to rush or force it. Give yourself grace as you work through the layers of hurt. When you choose forgiveness, you're choosing to prioritize your well-being over your pain. You're saying, I deserve peace. I deserve joy. I deserve freedom. And that's a powerful declaration. It's a reminder that you are in control of your life, not the hurtful actions of others. So, take a moment to ask yourself, what stones are you carrying in your backpack? Are they worth the weight? And if not, are you ready to start laying them down? The journey of forgiveness is not easy, but it is worth it. It's not about the person who hurt you, it's about freeing yourself to live the life you deserve, one filled with hope, healing, and peace. Forgiveness often begins with understanding the nature of pain. Pain, when left unresolved, has a way of entrenching itself deeply into our lives. It colors our perception of the world, distorts our relationships, and influences how we see ourselves. Often, we carry the pain inflicted by others and, without realizing it, allow it to define who we are. But here's the truth, you are not your pain. You are not your trauma. Forgiveness is about reclaiming your identity beyond the hurt. When someone wrongs you, it's natural to feel anger, resentment, or even hatred. These emotions are valid. They are the mind's way of processing betrayal. But over time, holding on to these feelings can become a form of self-sabotage. Anger that simmers for too long begins to harden into bitterness. It becomes a lens through which you view every interaction, making it difficult to trust, to love, or even to hope. The person who hurt you might have moved on, yet you remain shackled by their actions. Releasing this pain requires courage. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine. In fact, the first step toward forgiveness is often confrontation, not with the person who hurt you, but with yourself. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to? Why does this hurt still have power over me? Am I ready to let it go? These questions are not easy to answer, but they are essential for healing. Forgiveness is not a one-time event. It's a journey. There will be days when you feel like you've made progress, only to have old memories resurface and trigger the same pain all over again. That's normal. Healing is not linear. Some days will feel like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Be patient with yourself. Each small step you take toward forgiveness is a victory. One of the greatest challenges in forgiveness is learning to empathize with those who hurt us. This doesn't mean excusing their actions or invalidating your pain. It means recognizing that hurt people often hurt others. Sometimes, the person who caused your pain was dealing with their own wounds, their own struggles. This doesn't justify what they did, but it can help you see them as human, flawed, imperfect, and just as capable of making mistakes as you are. Empathy is a powerful tool for healing. When you can step into the shoes of the person who hurt you, even briefly, it can shift your perspective. It doesn't mean you have to reconcile or invite them back into your life. It simply means acknowledging that they, too, are a product of their experiences, their pain, and their limitations. Self-forgiveness is another crucial aspect of this journey. Often, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You might blame yourself for allowing the hurt to happen, for trusting the wrong person, or for not setting boundaries. But holding on to guilt and shame only perpetuates the cycle of pain. You are human, and humans are imperfect. You deserve the same compassion and grace that you would offer to a friend. Forgiving yourself means acknowledging your mistakes, learning from them, and letting them go. It's about giving yourself permission to move forward without the baggage of self-recrimination. Remember, you are not defined by your past actions or decisions. You are defined by how you choose to grow from them. As you navigate the journey of forgiveness, remember that it's not about achieving perfection. It's about progress. It's about waking up each day and choosing peace over resentment, love over bitterness, and freedom over captivity. It's about understanding that forgiveness is not a destination but a lifelong practice, a gift you give yourself every day. By choosing forgiveness, you open the door to a life that is lighter, brighter, and filled with possibilities. You reclaim your power and take control of your story. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And with every step you take, you become stronger, wiser, and freer. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a favor to the person who caused you harm, but it is far from that. It is an act of liberation for yourself, a way to break free from the chains of resentment that keep you tethered to past pain. Imagine forgiveness as unlocking a door you didn't realize was keeping you trapped. The act doesn't erase what happened, it transforms how you carry it. To truly embrace forgiveness, it's important to recognize its transformative power. Forgiveness doesn't mean you are weak or submissive, rather, it's a declaration that your peace is more valuable than the pain inflicted upon you. It's choosing to stop reliving the hurt every day, allowing yourself to move forward without the weight of that burden. One of the most significant steps in forgiveness is letting go of the need for an apology or acknowledgement from the person who hurt you. Waiting for validation or remorse can leave you stuck in a cycle of anger and frustration. You might never hear the words, "I'm sorry, and that has to be okay." Forgiveness is not dependent on the actions of others, it's a gift you give yourself. A helpful way to approach forgiveness is through reframing the story of your pain. Instead of viewing yourself solely as a victim, see yourself as a survivor, someone who has endured and emerged stronger. This shift in perspective empowers you to take control of your narrative. The focus moves from what was done to you to what you have overcome. It's not about denying your pain but about refusing to let it define you. Forgiveness also involves acknowledging the complexities of human nature. People are flawed and make mistakes, sometimes intentionally, sometimes out of ignorance or their own pain. While this doesn't excuse harmful behavior, understanding this truth can help you let go of unrealistic expectations. You begin to see that forgiveness is not about condoning what was done but about choosing to release the power it holds over you. Self-forgiveness is another layer of this journey that many overlook. Often, we are our own harshest critics, carrying guilt, shame, or regret for years. These feelings can weigh just as heavily as the pain caused by others. Forgiving yourself is about accepting that you, too, are human and prone to mistakes. It's about extending the same grace to yourself that you would offer a friend in a similar situation. Writing can be a powerful tool in the forgiveness process. Consider journaling your feelings, addressing the person who hurt you, or even writing to yourself. These letters don't need to be sent, they are for you. They allow you to express your emotions fully, acknowledge the pain, and begin the process of release. Writing helps you clarify your thoughts and can be a significant step toward closure. Another important aspect of forgiveness is setting boundaries. Forgiveness doesn't mean allowing someone back into your life or giving them the opportunity to hurt you again. It's perfectly okay to forgive someone while keeping a healthy distance. Forgiveness is about freeing your heart, not abandoning your sense of self-respect or safety. Surrounding yourself with supportive people can also make the journey easier. Share your struggles with trusted friends, a therapist, or a support group. Sometimes, hearing different perspectives or receiving encouragement can provide the strength needed to continue. Lastly, recognize that forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. Some days, the pain might resurface, and that's okay. Be patient with yourself. Healing is rarely linear, and setbacks are a natural part of growth. Celebrate small victories, like moments of peace or clarity, as signs that you're moving forward. Forgiveness is not about erasing the past, it's about reshaping your future. By choosing to forgive, you're choosing freedom, growth, and the possibility of a life unburdened by pain. You're making room for joy, love, and hope to take root. And most importantly, you're reclaiming the power to write the next chapter of your story. Forgiveness often feels like an uphill battle, especially when the pain runs deep. Many wonder, how can I forgive when the hurt is so profound? The truth is, forgiveness doesn't erase the wrong, but it allows you to take back control of your emotional well-being. It's a process of unshackling yourself from the actions of another and reclaiming your inner peace. At its core, forgiveness is a deeply personal journey. It's not about the other person, it's about you. It's about deciding that your peace matters more than the bitterness that has taken root in your heart. This realization is liberating because it shifts the focus from what was done to you to what you can do for yourself. You're no longer a prisoner of someone else's actions, you're the architect of your healing. One of the most challenging aspects of forgiveness is dealing with the internal conflict it brings. There's often a voice inside that whispers, if I forgive, I'm letting them get away with it. This is a common misconception. Forgiveness isn't about absolving the other person, it's about breaking free from the emotional grip they have on you. It's saying, you no longer control how I feel or live my life. The process of forgiveness starts with acknowledgement. Denying or suppressing your emotions only delays healing. Allow yourself to feel the hurt, the anger, the disappointment. Write them down, speak them aloud, or share them with someone you trust. Giving your pain a voice is the first step toward releasing it. Next comes acceptance, not acceptance of the wrongdoing, but acceptance that the past cannot be changed. The hurt happened, and no amount of resentment will rewrite history. This step is often the hardest because it requires a shift in perspective. Instead of focusing on what you can't change, redirect your energy toward what you can control your response. Forgiveness also requires grace, both for others and yourself. It's easy to focus on the flaws of the person who hurt you, but forgiveness invites you to reflect on your own humanity. Have you ever hurt someone unintentionally? Have you ever made a mistake and wished for understanding? Extending grace doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior, it means recognizing that we all carry imperfections. Practicing empathy can also be transformative. Try to see the situation from the other person's perspective, not to justify their actions, but to understand their motives. Hurt people often hurt others. Perhaps they were acting out of fear, insecurity, or unresolved pain of their own. Understanding this doesn't diminish your hurt, but it can help you let go of some of the resentment. Boundaries play a critical role in forgiveness. Just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you have to allow them back into your life. Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same. Reconciliation requires mutual effort and trust, while forgiveness is something you can do entirely on your own. It's about your freedom, not their redemption. Forgiving yourself is equally important. Sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is the one staring back at you in the mirror. You might blame yourself for allowing the hurt to happen, for trusting too much, or for staying silent, when you should have spoken up. But holding on to self-blame only deepens the wound. Recognize that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Grant yourself the same compassion you would offer a loved one. As you walk the path of forgiveness, remember that it's not about rushing the process. Healing takes time, and it's okay to move at your own pace. Some days, you'll feel lighter, other days, the weight might return. Be patient with yourself and trust that every step, no matter how small, is progress. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts of self-care. It's a declaration that you refuse to let the actions of others dictate your happiness. It's an act of courage, a choice to prioritize your well-being. And in the end, it's the key to unlocking the life of freedom, joy, and peace that you deserve. Forgiveness is often viewed as a gift we give to others, but the truth is that forgiveness is the greatest gift we can give to ourselves. It is the act of breaking free from the emotional prison constructed by pain, anger, and resentment. But this freedom doesn't come easily, it requires intention, patience, and a willingness to confront the pain. One of the hardest truths to accept is that forgiveness doesn't always come with closure. You may never receive an apology or acknowledgement from the person who hurt you. They may never understand the depth of your pain or the consequences of their actions. Waiting for an apology or closure is like waiting for rain in a drought, it might never come. Forgiveness, then, becomes an act of releasing your need for external validation and finding peace within yourself. The journey of forgiveness often begins with the simple decision to try. It doesn't mean you wake up one day free from all resentment, instead, it's a gradual process that unfolds over time. Some days, you may feel like you've made progress, while other days, old wounds might resurface. These moments can be discouraging, but they're a natural part of healing. Visualizing your pain as a tangible object can be a helpful exercise. Imagine holding a rope tied to a heavy weight. As long as you grip the rope, the weight pulls on you, draining your energy. Forgiveness is the act of letting go of the rope, not to let the weight disappear, but to stop it from controlling you. This visualization can serve as a powerful reminder that forgiveness is about freeing yourself. Mindfulness and meditation are valuable tools in this journey. Taking time to sit with your emotions without judgment can help you process them more fully. It allows you to acknowledge your pain, understand its roots, and gradually release it. Guided meditations focused on forgiveness can provide a safe space to explore these emotions and cultivate compassion for yourself and others. Community and connection also play a significant role in healing. Sharing your experiences with trusted friends, a therapist, or a support group can be incredibly cathartic. Sometimes, hearing someone else's perspective can shed light on aspects of your journey you hadn't considered. You'll find that you're not alone in your struggle, and this sense of shared humanity can be deeply comforting. It's important to recognize that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or erasing what happened. The lessons learned from pain can be invaluable, shaping who you are and how you navigate the world. Forgiveness doesn't dismiss the significance of those lessons, instead, it ensures that the pain doesn't overshadow them. It allows you to carry the wisdom forward without being weighed down by bitterness. For many, spirituality can provide a source of strength in the forgiveness process. Whether it's through prayer, reflection, or seeking guidance from a higher power, spirituality can offer a sense of purpose and peace. It reminds us that forgiveness is not about fairness, it's about grace. It's an act of love, not just for others but for yourself. As you progress on this journey, celebrate the small victories. Perhaps you've let go of a grudge that's been weighing you down for years. Maybe you found the courage to express your feelings to someone who hurt you. Or maybe, you've simply taken the first step of acknowledging your pain. Each of these milestones is a testament to your strength and resilience. Forgiveness is a journey, not a destination. It's a practice you must choose again and again, sometimes daily. It's not about perfection but about progress. With each step, you'll find yourself feeling lighter, freer, and more at peace. And in the end, you'll realize that forgiveness isn't just about healing the past, it's about embracing the future with an open heart. Forgiveness is a deeply personal journey, one that doesn't follow a universal timeline or a single path. It is as unique as the pain that necessitates it. For some, the process might take days, for others, it may take years. This individuality can make forgiveness feel isolating at times, but it's important to remember that it's not a race. The destination is peace, and every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. A major obstacle in forgiveness is the misconception that it is synonymous with weakness. Society often glorifies holding grudges as a sign of strength, a way to maintain control over situations and people. However, the reality is quite the opposite. Holding on to resentment consumes energy and attention that could be directed toward growth and healing. True strength lies in being vulnerable enough to confront your pain and courageous enough to let it go. Another challenge is the fear of being hurt again. It's natural to feel that forgiving someone opens the door for them to repeat their actions. But forgiveness doesn't mean allowing someone to re-enter your life or granting them the same level of trust. Setting boundaries is an essential part of the forgiveness process. You can forgive someone while still protecting yourself from future harm. Forgiveness also requires a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing the situation solely through the lens of your pain, consider the broader context. What might have driven the other person to act the way they did? Were they struggling with their own wounds or insecurities? This isn't about excusing their behavior but about understanding it. Empathy doesn't invalidate your pain, it humanizes the situation, which can make it easier to let go. One of the most liberating realizations about forgiveness is that it doesn't require reconciliation. While rebuilding a relationship might be possible and even desirable in some cases, it's not always necessary. Forgiveness is about your peace of mind, not the restoration of a connection. You can forgive someone entirely in your heart without ever speaking to them again. This distinction is crucial for those navigating complex or abusive relationships. Writing letters you don't intend to send can be a powerful tool in this process. Pour out your thoughts and emotions onto paper. Address the person who hurt you, telling them everything you've wanted to say but couldn't. Then, write about your decision to forgive, not for their sake, but for yours. Whether you choose to keep the letter, burn it, or tear it into pieces, the act itself can be cathartic. Self-compassion is another cornerstone of forgiveness. It's easy to judge yourself harshly for the role you may have played in a painful situation. You might think, I should have known better, or I should have seen it coming. But this kind of thinking is not only unhelpful, it's unfair. You were doing the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had. At the time. Forgiving yourself is about acknowledging your humanity and giving yourself the grace to grow. Practicing gratitude can also be a surprising ally in forgiveness. While it may seem counterintuitive to feel gratitude in the face of pain, reflecting on the lessons learned or the strength gained from a difficult experience can reframe how you view it. Gratitude doesn't diminish the hurt but highlights the growth that came from it. It's a way to reclaim agency over your narrative. Forgiveness is not a destination you arrive at, it's a practice you commit to. Some days, the pain might feel distant, and forgiveness will come easily. Other days, the memories may resurface, and the anger might return. On those days, remind yourself why you chose to forgive in the first place. Revisit your reasons, and allow yourself the grace to start again. By choosing forgiveness, you're choosing freedom. You're choosing to release the grip of the past and open yourself to the possibilities of the future. It's a journey that requires strength, patience, and resilience, but the peace it brings is worth every step. With forgiveness, you're not just healing the wounds inflicted by others, you're reclaiming your power, your joy, and your life. Forgiveness often feels like navigating uncharted waters, especially when the wounds run deep. It's an act that requires bravery because it asks you to confront emotions you may have spent years avoiding. Pain, anger, betrayal, they all resurface when you choose to examine the hurt. But within that confrontation lies the key to your freedom. A common hurdle in the forgiveness journey is the belief that forgiving someone means condoning their actions. It's important to dismantle this myth early on. Forgiveness is not about approving of the harm done or pretending it didn't happen. Instead, it's about refusing to let that harm dictate your future. It's a decision to take back your power, to stop letting someone else's actions control your emotions, thoughts, and actions. Letting go of the expectation of justice is another critical step in forgiveness. Many people hold on to their pain, believing that their suffering somehow balances the scales. They think, if I let this go, it's like saying what they did was okay. But forgiveness doesn't nullify the wrong, it reclaims your right to peace. Justice and forgiveness can coexist, they are not mutually exclusive. You can seek justice while still choosing to let go of the anger that holds you hostage. The process of forgiveness also involves self-reflection. It requires you to ask hard questions. What am I gaining by holding on to this resentment? Is it truly serving me, or is it holding me back? These questions can be uncomfortable, but they often reveal surprising truths. Resentment, though familiar, is a heavy burden. Releasing it doesn't mean you've lost, it means you've chosen yourself. Visualization can be a helpful technique in this process. Imagine your resentment as a weight you carry, perhaps a heavy chain wrapped around you. Visualize yourself breaking that chain, piece by piece, and setting it aside. Each link represents a hurt, a grudge, or a memory that no longer serves you. With every link you release, you feel lighter, freer, more at peace. Another powerful tool in forgiveness is perspective. Often, when we're hurt, we view the situation through the narrow lens of our own pain. But stepping back and considering the bigger picture can shift how we feel. This doesn't mean invalidating your hurt or excusing the other person's behavior. Instead, it means acknowledging that everyone is fighting battles we may not see. This perspective doesn't erase the pain but can soften the grip of anger and resentment. Forgiveness also invites us to practice compassion, not just for others but for ourselves. Self-forgiveness is one of the hardest forms of forgiveness because we often hold ourselves to impossibly high standards. We replay our mistakes, overanalyze our decisions, and judge ourselves harshly for not knowing better. But forgiveness starts with accepting that you are human, flawed, and constantly growing. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a loved one. Support systems can play a pivotal role in the forgiveness journey. Sharing your struggles with trusted friends, family, or a therapist can provide comfort and perspective. Sometimes, simply voicing your pain can lighten the load. You'll find that others have faced similar challenges and come out stronger on the other side. Their stories can inspire hope and remind you that forgiveness is possible. Lastly, forgiveness is about creating space for joy, love, and new experiences. When you release resentment, you make room for the things that truly matter. You open yourself to the possibility of deeper connections, greater peace, and a life untethered from the past. Forgiveness doesn't mean the pain disappears, but it does mean it no longer defines you. The journey of forgiveness is not linear, nor is it easy. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and days when the hurt feels fresh again. But every step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward freedom. With each act of forgiveness, you're choosing to prioritize your happiness, your well-being, and your future. And that is a choice worth making. Forgiveness often feels counterintuitive, especially when the pain inflicted is fresh or the betrayal cuts deeply. It's natural to want justice, to crave an acknowledgement of the harm caused. But forgiveness isn't about erasing the offense or ignoring the pain, it's about reclaiming your power and breaking free from the emotional grip of the past. One of the most liberating realizations about forgiveness is that it is entirely within your control. No one else can force you to forgive, nor can they take it away from you. It's a choice you make for yourself, not for the person who hurt you. This realization shifts the focus from what was done to you to what you can do for yourself. Forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. A key part of this journey is understanding that forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Forgiveness is internal, it's about your peace of mind and emotional freedom. Reconciliation, on the other hand, involves rebuilding trust and repairing a relationship, which requires mutual effort. Sometimes, reconciliation isn't possible or even safe, and that's okay. You can forgive someone without allowing them back into your life. Another important step is learning to separate the person from their actions. People are complex, shaped by their experiences, fears, and pain. While their actions may have caused harm, those actions don't define their entire being. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it helps to humanize them. Recognizing their humanity can soften the edges of your anger and make forgiveness feel more attainable. Self-forgiveness is equally crucial. Often, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You might blame yourself for trusting the wrong person, for not seeing the warning signs, or for not standing up for yourself. But holding on to guilt only perpetuates the cycle of pain. Forgiving yourself is about acknowledging your mistakes, learning from them, and giving yourself permission to move forward. It's about understanding that you're human and deserving of the same compassion you extend to others. Practicing mindfulness can help in this process. Mindfulness encourages you to sit with your emotions without judgment. Instead of pushing away feelings of anger, sadness, or regret, mindfulness invites you to observe them. This practice can be uncomfortable at first, but it's a powerful way to process and release your pain. Over time, mindfulness can help you approach forgiveness with a calmer, more centered mindset. Forgiveness also requires patience. Healing doesn't happen overnight, and the journey is rarely linear. Some days, you may feel at peace, while other days, old wounds might resurface. These setbacks are normal and don't mean you're failing. They're simply reminders that forgiveness is a process, one that unfolds in its own time. Journaling can be a transformative tool during this journey. Write about your feelings, your pain, and your hopes for healing. Address letters to the person who hurt you, even if you never intend to send them. Pour out everything you've been holding inside, your anger, your sadness, your disappointment. Then, write about your decision to forgive. This exercise can help you organize your thoughts, release pent-up emotions, and gain clarity. As you navigate the path of forgiveness, remember to celebrate your progress. Each step, no matter how small, is a victory. Whether it's a moment of peace, a new perspective, or the ability to think about the person without anger, these milestones are signs that you're moving forward. Acknowledge them and be proud of the courage it takes to heal. Forgiveness is one of the most profound gifts you can give yourself. It's an act of self-love, a declaration that your happiness matters more than your hurt. It's not about erasing the past but about reclaiming your future. By choosing to forgive, you're not just freeing yourself from the weight of resentment, you're opening your heart to the possibilities of joy, love, and peace. Forgiveness is not a single decision but a journey that unfolds gradually. It is layered, requiring you to peel back emotions, confront memories, and let go of anger one step at a time. This journey can feel overwhelming, especially when the hurt is profound. But with each step forward, you'll find yourself reclaiming pieces of your peace, joy, and freedom. A critical part of forgiveness is understanding the power of choice. Forgiveness is not something that happens passively, it's an intentional act of will. You choose to let go of resentment, even when your heart still aches. You choose to release the grip of anger, even when the wounds feel fresh. This act of choosing is empowering because it reminds you that you have control over your emotional narrative. You can't change the past, but you can decide how it shapes your future. Self-compassion is essential on this journey. Many people struggle with forgiving themselves for mistakes they've made or for the way they responded to pain. You might replay moments in your mind, wishing you had acted differently or been stronger. But this self-criticism only deepens the emotional wound. Forgiving yourself is about acknowledging your humanity. It's about recognizing that you were doing the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. Grant yourself the grace to move forward without carrying the burden of shame. Perspective is another powerful tool in forgiveness. When we're hurt, it's easy to view the situation solely through the lens of our pain. But stepping back to consider the broader picture can bring clarity. This doesn't mean minimizing your hurt, it means understanding that people often act out of their own fears, insecurities, or unresolved pain. While this doesn't excuse their actions, it can help you see the situation more holistically, making it easier to release resentment. Forgiveness is not about waiting for someone else to acknowledge their wrongdoing. You may never receive an apology or the closure you desire. Waiting for these things keeps you tethered to the past, prolonging your pain. Forgiveness is your way of saying, I won't let this hold me back any longer. It's about reclaiming your power and refusing to let someone else's actions dictate your emotional state. Visualization exercises can be helpful in this process. Imagine your pain as a heavy load you've been carrying. Picture yourself setting it down, piece by piece, until you're free of its weight. This mental imagery can serve as a powerful reminder that forgiveness is about lightening your emotional burden, not erasing the past. Healthy boundaries are crucial in forgiveness, especially if the person who hurt you remains in your life. Forgiveness doesn't mean allowing someone to continue causing harm. It's okay to forgive someone while maintaining distance or setting limits on their access to your life. Boundaries protect your well-being and ensure that forgiveness doesn't become a license for repeated harm. Community can also play a vital role in the forgiveness journey. Sharing your struggles with trusted friends, family, or a therapist can provide emotional support and valuable perspective. Sometimes, hearing how others have navigated similar challenges can inspire hope and remind you that forgiveness is possible. You don't have to walk this path alone. Lastly, remember that forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It's not about the person who hurt you, it's about your peace, your freedom, and your happiness. By choosing to forgive, you're not condoning the pain, you're choosing to rise above it. You're creating space in your life for love, joy, and healing to take root. The journey of forgiveness is not easy, but it is worth it. Each step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to the life you deserve, a life unburdened by the weight of the past. And in that freedom, you'll find the strength to embrace the future with an open heart and a peaceful mind. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness, but in reality, it's one of the most profound acts of strength and resilience. Choosing to forgive doesn't mean you're excusing the harm done or forgetting the pain you endured. It means you're refusing to let that pain control your life any longer. Forgiveness is an act of reclaiming your power and taking a stand for your peace of mind. One of the first steps in this journey is acknowledging the hurt. Many people try to suppress their emotions, thinking that ignoring the pain will make it disappear. But emotions don't just vanish, they linger beneath the surface, influencing your thoughts and behaviors. Allowing yourself to feel the hurt, truly acknowledging it, is the first step toward healing. You can't let go of something you haven't fully faced. Another important step is separating the act of forgiveness from reconciliation. Forgiveness is an internal process, a decision you make for yourself. Reconciliation, on the other hand, involves rebuilding trust and repairing a relationship. While reconciliation can be a beautiful outcome, it's not always possible or even necessary. Sometimes, forgiveness means letting go of someone entirely and wishing them well from a distance. Empathy plays a crucial role in forgiveness. This doesn't mean excusing the person who hurt you but understanding that their actions may stem from their own pain, insecurities, or struggles. Hurt people often hurt others. Recognizing this doesn't diminish your pain, but it can help soften the resentment. It allows you to see the situation through a broader lens, making it easier to release the anger. Forgiving yourself is often the most challenging part of this journey. You might carry guilt for trusting the wrong person, for not speaking up, or for staying in a situation longer than you should have. These feelings of self-blame can be debilitating, but they're also unnecessary. You're human, and humans make mistakes. Forgiving yourself means accepting that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. It's about learning from your experiences and moving forward with compassion for yourself. Journaling is a powerful tool for self-forgiveness and releasing resentment. Write down your thoughts, feelings, and experiences without judgment. Address the person who hurt you or even yourself. Express everything you've been holding inside: the anger, the sadness, the disappointment. Then, write about your decision to forgive. Whether you choose to keep the journal, share it, or destroy it, the act of writing can be incredibly cathartic. Forgiveness is also about letting go of the need for justice or revenge. This can be one of the hardest parts, especially when the hurt runs deep. But holding on to the need for vindication only prolongs your suffering. True justice doesn't come from holding grudges, it comes from finding peace within yourself. By forgiving, you're not saying the wrong didn't matter, you're saying it doesn't get to define you. Boundaries are essential in the process of forgiveness. They ensure that you're not putting yourself in a position to be hurt again. Forgiveness doesn't mean giving someone unlimited access to your life. It's perfectly okay to forgive someone while maintaining distance. Boundaries protect your emotional well-being and create a safe space for you to heal. Mindfulness can also be a valuable practice during this journey. By staying present, you can avoid getting trapped in the cycle of replaying painful memories. Meditation, breathing exercises, or simply taking a moment to ground yourself in the present can help you process emotions more effectively. Mindfulness allows you to approach forgiveness with clarity and intention. The journey of forgiveness is not linear. There will be days when the hurt feels distant, and forgiveness comes easily. Other days, the pain might resurface, making the process feel like an uphill climb. But with each step, you're moving closer to freedom. Forgiveness isn't about erasing the past, it's about creating a future where the past no longer holds power over you. Forgiveness is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. It's a journey that requires you to confront, reflect, and release the emotional baggage that has accumulated over time. While the path is often challenging, it's also transformative, offering the opportunity to reclaim your peace and embrace a lighter, freer life. One of the most liberating aspects of forgiveness is the realization that it's a gift you give yourself. It's not about excusing the actions of others or pretending the hurt didn't happen. It's about saying, I will no longer allow this pain to define me or control my life. This shift in perspective is empowering because it places the focus on your healing and growth rather than the actions of the person who hurt you. A crucial step in this journey is redefining what forgiveness means to you. For many, forgiveness has been taught as an obligation, a duty to move on or be the bigger person. But true forgiveness is not about fulfilling societal expectations, it's about aligning with your own values and priorities. It's about creating space for joy, love, and peace in your life, even in the aftermath of pain. Letting go of resentment can feel like an impossible task, especially when the wound is deep or the betrayal feels unforgivable. But resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It only harms you, consuming your energy and clouding your happiness. By releasing resentment, you're not letting the other person off the hook, you're freeing yourself from their influence. Visualization can be a powerful tool in this process. Imagine your pain and resentment as a physical object, a heavy rock you've been carrying. Picture yourself setting it down and walking away, feeling lighter with each step. This exercise can serve as a reminder that forgiveness is about unburdening yourself, not erasing the past. Forgiveness often involves embracing vulnerability. It requires you to confront the raw emotions you've been holding on to: anger, sadness, betrayal, and allow yourself to feel them fully. This vulnerability can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it's also necessary for healing. By acknowledging your emotions, you give yourself permission to release them. Another important aspect of forgiveness is recognizing that it's a process, not a linear journey. There will be days when forgiveness feels attainable and others when the pain resurfaces, making it feel out of reach. These fluctuations are normal and don't mean you failed. Healing takes time, and it's okay to move at your own pace. Empathy can be a transformative element of forgiveness. While it's not about excusing harmful behavior, trying to understand the motivations or struggles of the person who hurt you can provide clarity. Hurt people often hurt others, and recognizing this can soften the edges of your anger. Empathy doesn't diminish your pain, it expands your perspective, making forgiveness feel more accessible. Self-forgiveness is equally vital. Many people carry guilt or shame for their own mistakes or perceived shortcomings. They replay moments in their minds, wondering what they could have done differently. But holding on to this self-blame only perpetuates the cycle of pain. Forgiving yourself means accepting that you're human, imperfect, and constantly learning. It's about granting yourself the grace you so freely offer others. Writing can be a therapeutic way to process forgiveness. Whether it's journaling your thoughts, penning a letter to the person who hurt you, or even writing to yourself, the act of putting your feelings into words can bring clarity and relief. These writings don't need to be shared, they're for you, a private space to explore and release your emotions. As you move through the journey of forgiveness, remember to celebrate your progress. Each moment of peace, each instance of letting go, is a victory. These milestones are proof of your resilience and strength. Forgiveness is not about erasing the past but about reclaiming your future. It's a journey of self-discovery, healing, and growth, and every step you take brings you closer to the life you deserve. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-liberation. It is a journey of releasing the weight of resentment, the chains of anger, and the shadows of pain that hold you captive. While the path is challenging, its destination, freedom and peace, is worth every step. To forgive is not to forget but to choose healing over hurt, progress over stagnation, and love over bitterness. One of the most profound lessons in forgiveness is understanding its cyclical nature. Healing doesn't follow a straight line, and forgiveness isn't a one-time declaration. There will be days when you feel free from the pain, and then there will be moments when an old wound reopens. These moments are opportunities to recommit to your decision to forgive, to remind yourself of why you began this journey in the first place. The act of forgiveness often starts with a decision, but the journey requires ongoing commitment. It's about actively choosing to let go of the emotional ties that bind you to the person or event that caused you pain. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or denying the hurt. On the contrary, it means confronting those feelings, sitting with them, and then gently releasing their hold on you. An important aspect of forgiveness is cultivating gratitude. This may seem counterintuitive. But gratitude doesn't diminish your pain, it reframes your perspective. Reflecting on the strength you've gained, the lessons you've learned, and the resilience you've built can transform how you view your journey. Gratitude reminds you that even in pain, there is growth, and even in hurt, there is potential for healing. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation or deep breathing, can help you stay present in your forgiveness journey. These practices anchor you in the moment, allowing you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. They create space for you to process your feelings and make intentional choices about how you respond to them. Mindfulness helps you cultivate inner peace, making it easier to let go of resentment and anger. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciling with someone who has harmed you, nor does it require you to forget what happened. It simply means you are choosing to move forward without carrying the weight of that pain. Boundaries are a crucial part of this process. Forgiveness allows you to release anger while still protecting yourself from further harm. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and self-care, ensuring that forgiveness doesn't become a license for repeated hurt. Self-forgiveness is another vital component of this journey. Often, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You may carry guilt or regret for decisions you made or situations you allowed. But holding on to self-blame only deepens the wound. Forgiving yourself means accepting your imperfections and embracing the truth that you are constantly growing. It's about treating yourself with the same compassion you would offer a close friend. Community can be a powerful support system in your journey. Sharing your experiences with trusted friends, family, or a therapist can provide valuable perspective and encouragement. Hearing others' stories of forgiveness can inspire hope and remind you that you are not alone. The strength found in community can bolster your resolve when the journey feels overwhelming. As you near the end of your forgiveness journey, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. Consider the weight you've shed, the peace you've gained, and the strength you've discovered within yourself. Celebrate the progress you've made, knowing that each step was a victory over the pain that sought to hold you back. Forgiveness is not just an act, it's a way of being. It's a commitment to prioritize your well-being, to choose peace over bitterness, and to embrace the possibility of joy and love. By forgiving, you reclaim your power and take control of your narrative. You declare that your life is defined not by the pain of the past but by the promise of the future. In choosing forgiveness, you choose freedom. You choose healing. You choose yourself. And that is the most powerful choice of all.